What's up, users? It's the Russian. Just let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Okay. Actually, today we have a Belarusian propaganda. And this is preparation of this, I'm assuming, elite soldiers, right before being sent for the front lines. This is the demonstration of their strength and willpower. Long story short, for some reason the elite Belarusian forces consider elite activities is destroying these kind of cement blocks, which apparently are made just out of carton, and even these carton blocks, they are already pre-cut, because the place where it is being destroyed, it is exactly like a zigzag kind of stuff, right? Obviously, we're not even gonna talk about the guy in the background, shirtless, carrying two Belarusian flags, that's way too ridiculous. And then they start climbing on top of each other, still not doing it kinda perfectly, for I have even no idea which reason. Maybe so it is easier for them to climb into the second floor of the building, if they lose the keys or something like this, I have no idea. So that's pretty much it. Without further ado, let's focus on some serious stuff and let me give you an update from the south and the east of Ukraine. Our first stop brings us to Crimea, to Cape Fiolet, and basically here is the smoke and there was some loud noises according to local residents, and this was exactly from the place where a Russian electronic warfare system was stationed, which basically confirms that Ukrainians continue to destroy Russian air defense capabilities on the peninsula. Next we also have a picture from Nova Kakhovka, where a small Russian military base was destroyed, along with even more military equipment, specifically a local communications station. In Rostov, yet another oil refinery was attacked by a Ukrainian drone. And then in Kharkov, we can once again see absolutely surgical work of Ukrainian FPV drone operators, because they are able to find Russian trenches and dugouts and pretty much fly literally right inside them. In addition to that, Ukrainians using drones were also able to destroy a pretty decent number of military equipment of the Z army, specifically one tank, one armored personnel carrier, one artillery system D-30, one mortar, one ammunition depot and 3 military trucks. Next we have a video, unfortunately, which shows the current condition of Chasiv Yar. The city is literally non-existent. Not just there's not a single building standing, there's not even plants, grass, nothing. It is just grey, black and white, not a single other color. Some of you guys were asking, so why Ukrainians retreated from one of the neighborhoods in Chasiv Yar? We were talking about this in my previous video. Well, as you can see, there is literally nothing left to defend. If there are any civilians living, they most likely live on the outskirts. The city center is fully destroyed, so whenever it will be liberated, hopefully sooner than later, the entire Chasiv Yar will have to be rebuilt literally from scratch, from the ground up. And then Terne, another small settlement in Donetsk region. This was a place for constant combat activities between the Z army and Ukrainians for pretty much the entire couple of years. And well, right now, right here, we have a video from also Ukrainian bodycam footage, which shows that Ukrainians were able to perform a small and very successful counteroffensive. They advanced closer to the positions of Russians and they recaptured some lost ground. The entire video is more than 3 minutes long, so guys, if you want to see it, full version and uncensored one, it will be on my Patreon, as always, the link is down below. Our next major topic of interest is that it looks like that the very first stage of peace negotiations finally started. I'm referring to Hungary, its Prime Minister Viktor Orban, previously visiting Ukraine and then going to Russia. So let's talk about right now what are particular things that were discussed, but first of all, I did notice that, guys, 43% of you watching are not subscribed. 43% is almost half. Guys, we are in dire need of subscribers, we are losing them, so if you are not yet subscribed, feel free to do it. Please welcome to the Russian Duet Army, and yes, I'm talking about you, John, Jack, Steven, Matthew, Mark, Artyom, David, Victor. All of you are more than welcome to subscribe. This is a nice and fun little community we have right here. You can also follow me on Instagram, the weekend is here, and I try to post stories at least every single day, so if you want to see how I live outside of YouTube, the link of my Instagram is down below. And so yeah, back to this very first potential stage of peace negotiations, because yes, let's be honest, Somebody doesn't want them, somebody wants them so much, but eventually every single war ends in peace negotiations, you want it or not. Long story short, the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, previously a couple of days ago, first of all, he went to Ukraine, Kiev, and then he went to Russia to meet with its president, Vladimir Putin. And according to the sources close to Kremlin, one of the very first topics and pretty much the majority of these conversations were obviously about Russian-Ukrainian future relationships and this so-called special military operation. Viktor Orban calls his country, Hungary, one of the few remaining countries which can serve as a bridge between Russia and Ukraine. This country is relatively okay viewed by both these countries, so not a single president, as you can see, was able to decline meeting with Viktor Orban. So in case there are any propositions, statements, if there are any points to discuss, at least to begin with, they can pass them through this guy Viktor Orban. And one of the very first things that Putin mentioned is that the Prime Minister of Hungary was telling him the European, the Western vision of this conflict, so which, according to Putin, does not align with his own vision of how this war is going. I also have to mention that personally, I think that peace negotiations with Putin will never yield any results, and I'm almost certain majority of you guys think exactly the same. Basically what I mean is that we can never trust Putin. You already know what I'm talking about. But once again, every war ends in peace negotiations, so we might see the very first beginning one. Maybe it's gonna take months or years, but it has to start somewhere. And if you remember, literally in the middle of this week there was a proposition, the new one, from Russia, which they said that they will have to keep Luhansk and Donetsk, they can return Kherson and Zaporozhye region to Ukraine, and even Crimean Peninsula will be shared both by Russians and Ukrainians. Well, this right now is just a perfect confirmation how you can never trust Putin, because after meeting with Viktor Orban, he said that our new proposition to Ukraine is that we keep all 4 regions, which now includes once again Kherson and Zaporozhye. So as you can see, this guy literally changes his mind 2-3 times per week. What kind of peace agreements are we even talking about then? Because imagine, for example, you are watching, you are an American, and then Mexico invades your southern states. It takes, I don't know, for example, Texas, a little bit of California, takes obviously a part of Florida, and then they say, well, if you want to have peace, we keep these states, we keep Texas, we keep half of California, we keep Florida, and then yes, we can have peace, then there will be a ceasefire. Will you agree on these conditions? I highly doubt. I would say that the answer would be no. But this is exactly what Putin is proposing, and his biggest bet since the beginning of this war is to literally exhaust Ukraine and the West. His main idea is that people will just be tired of fighting so much that they will even be ready to give up their own territories. This is what he is pushing the most at this very moment. However, there is another possibility. This possibility might not have that much chances of happening, but it is a possibility nevertheless. What I'm referring to is Ilya Ponomarev, a member of Russian freedom fighters, who is right now in exile, and he is saying that there is a group of approximately 5,000 similar people who are done with Putin, who cannot stand his regime, and these are the people, not just some regular civilians, which, to be honest, if you think about, there are millions of Russians who are against this war, they just literally cannot express their opinions. No, these 5,000 exiles I'm talking about used to be very influential people of Russia. Some of them were even inside Putin's inner circle. These are all the people right now outside of Russia. They are in the communications between each other. They plan COUP d'etat against Putin. They're just waiting right now for the very right moment to strike when it's gonna hurt the most. They are even allegedly right now working on an official document which they're planning to present in the 75th summit of NATO in Washington next month, and basically what's gonna say is to legalize the use of force against Putin and also against his inner circle. And also, besides Putin himself and the people closest to him, this will be a legalization about the possibility to eliminate even Russian propagandists. Yes, Vladimir Solovyov, Margarita Simonyan, you know them all. This guy Ilya Ponomaryov, according to him, it is not just these 5,000 people in exile who are planning this coup. Long story short, there are also Ukrainians and also from higher Ukrainian government officials, the security services, who are helping those people to gather the intelligence, gather data, analyze it, and prepare for this potential uprising as well. And obviously, we already know about other anti-Putin forces which are Russians fighting on the side of Ukraine, such as Freedom of Russia Legion, Russian Volunteer Corps, Siberian Battalion, and so on. These ones are just more open about their activities, about their actions. We literally get news about them almost every single day at this point. But these 5,000 people, they still to try to keep a low profile. They want to strike because they will most likely only have one chance. So the attack they need to perform, it has to be just with 100% efficiency. Otherwise, we know what's gonna happen with anyone who wants to go against Putin. Just think about what happened to Yevgeny Prigozhin. And unlike any other forceful change of power, they do not even completely require the full elimination of Putin. Just elimination of his inner circle and capture of Putin himself will be more than enough, because then he'll be expected a fair trial, and well, I do not think Vladimir Putin will be awarded a house arrest. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you miss my face on Monday, I have my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, and all the other useful links are down below. PayPal donations, Instagram, Patreon, and of course merch, hoodies, t-shirts, cases, shirts, all this kind of stuff. All the links are down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you on Tuesday.
All night long, Russian dude, the Russian dude, he'll drink and dance and never broke